In other news, U.S. President Joe Biden received a hero's welcome as he closed out the first night of the Democratic National Convention in Chicago. The speech by the 81-year-old effectively saw him pass the baton on to his vice president as Kamala Harris gears up to take on Donald Trump in November. Biden said he made a whole lot of mistakes during his career, but he told Americans he gave his best to them.
She's tough. She's experienced. And she has enormous integrity, enormous integrity. Her story represents the best American story. And like many of our best presidents, she was also vice president.
Looking out at everyone tonight, I see the beauty of our great nation. People from every corner of our country and every walk of life are here, united by our shared vision for the future of our country. And this November, we will come together and declare with one voice, as one people, we are moving forward.
We can bring in our chief foreign editor, Rob Parsons. Rob, this was a very moving night for Joe Biden. This was a president who had it in him to do another 4 years, but had to put the country first because of his age.
Well, I'm not sure he had it in him to do another 4 years. That was really the problem, that physically, although the mental will was there, physically he clearly didn't. Remember that debate he had with Donald Trump, and that's where everything started to crumble for him, and the pressure started to grow for him to step down. And this speech today should have been about him. It was planned to be about him taking the next step towards the presidency. Instead, it was a speech summarizing the 50 years of his political career and passing the baton on to Kamala Harris. And interestingly, his wife, who spoke there, said, recalled that he had to dig deep into his soul to make that decision, but he had made that decision because it was the right one in the interest of the country, in the interest of the Democratic Party. And he got roundly applauded for it. Interestingly, too, this is a Joe Biden who sounded quite confident, who sounded relatively at ease on the stage. He wasn't stumbling at all. He wasn't the man that we saw in debate with Donald Trump, who could barely put two words together at times. This was a man who was really strongly defending his record as president and paving the way for Kamala Harris, who he referred to as being the best. His appointment of her as vice president was the best decision he ever made in his political career. That she was honest, she was tough, she was experienced, and that she would take the fight to Donald Trump, a man with 34 felonies, and as a prosecutor, she would deal with him.
I mean, I was just looking at the images of Biden speaking to Harris there. Clearly, he has a lot of respect for his pick. Now, on day one of the DNC, Rob, we had senior figures from the Democratic Party, including Hillary Clinton, who spoke. Obviously, she was unsuccessful in her bid for the presidency. But we also had figures on the left, including Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, signaling she could be the future of the Democratic Party. Take a listen to what she had to say.
In Kamala Harris, we have a chance to elect a president who is for the middle class because she is from the middle class. She understands the urgency of rent checks and groceries and prescriptions. And Chicago, we have to help her win. Because we know that Donald Trump would sell this country for $1 if it meant lining his own pockets and greasing the palms of his Wall Street friends.
There you have it, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, far the left of the Democratic Party, signaling that there's a whole lot of unity there in Chicago.
Yeah, and it was interesting. I mean, this is the Democratic Party coming together. During the last election, in the run to the last election, there was a lot of division in the Democratic Party. A lot of people who would have preferred Bernie Sanders to go forward from the left. It didn't happen, of course. But this time round, there isn't doesn't appear to be that division. They recognize just how dangerous the prospect of a Donald Trump presidency is and how important it is to make sure that all strands of the Democratic Party are on board and in support of Kamala Harris. And we saw there Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, who said, well, not just on the left, but the younger generation, 34 years old. She's obviously got a long career ahead of her in the Democratic Party, but coming solidly behind Kamala Harris, praising the work that she has done on Gaza, for instance, which is an area in which one might have expected her to actually attack Kamala Harris in this administration, but chose not to. But also talking about the work she does for women in particular, gender rights, abortion, and defending the interests of the middle class. Another pointing a finger at the same time at the failings of Donald Trump and the Republican Party. But you mentioned two others, like Hillary Clinton, who came so close in her presidential bid in 2016 to breaking that glass ceiling to become the first female president of the United States, but just managing to crack it. Although she got more votes than Donald Trump, she didn't actually win the election. Now she's saying the moment has come. We have to get behind Kamala Harris. She's the woman who's going to break that glass ceiling and take things forward for women. So the whole party coming together. You know, we saw it in the way that the younger generation at the convention were cheering Joe Biden as well, holding up signs saying, we love Joe, and all that sort of thing.
So we'll see how the convention pans out. We still have another 3 days to go. Thank you very much for that, Rob Parsons there.